Burling responds angrily. "Look here, Inspector. I consider this uncalled for and officious. I've half a mind to report you. I've told you all I know, and it doesn't seem to me very important. And now there isn't the slightest reason why my daughter should be dragged into this unpleasant business." We can see through the stage directions angrily that he tries to assert his authority. Note that he calls it uncalled for and officious, focusing on the class divide here. Despite the fact that Eva Smith was also a female, it is only upper class females who are deemed too innocent to actually hear such things. Also note the gender gap. Women should not be allowed to hear such unpleasant things. This can be seen through why my daughter should be dragged into this unpleasant business. The adjective unpleasant emphasises the etiquette surrounding what females were and weren't allowed to listen to at the time. We can see from Sheila's response and the stage directions coming farther in, "What business? What's happening?" that unlike other females, she is quite progressive. She does not care for the social and gender constructs of the time, and does not want to be kept in the dark. The inspector responds impressively, "I'm a police inspector, Miss Burling. This afternoon a young woman drank some disinfectant and died after several hours of agony tonight in the infirmary." Note the significance of the stage directions, again emphasising his power as an inspector. Also note the blunt language that he uses after several hours of agony tonight in the infirmary. This blunt language is important as he uses this deliberately to shock Sheila. Sheila responds with, "Oh, how horrible! Was it an accident?" Here we can see her lamenting tone that emphasises her genuine response. The alliteration and exclamation shows a genuine emotional reaction. The question, "Was it an accident?" also emphasises her curiosity. Again, the inspector responds bluntly with, "No, she wanted to end her life. She felt she couldn't go on any longer." We can see again the blunt tone through the short dramatic sentence that drives home the awfulness of her death. Burling jumps in with, "Well, don't tell me that's because I discharged her from my employment nearly 2 years ago." Here we can see, through the imperative, his refusal to accept responsibility. Eric, however, notices that there's a chain of events here, stating that might have started it. Sheila responds with, "Did you, Dad?" Again emphasising that both Eric and Sheila are much more progressive than their father, who wants to deny all involvement. "Yes, the girl had been causing trouble in the works. I was quite justified." Again we can see that he is still adamant. He refuses to accept responsibility for what he has done. Gerald aligns himself with Burling and identifies as a traditionalist and a snob. "Yes, I think you were. I know we'd have done the same thing. Don't look like that, Sheila." Sheila, according to the stage directions, is rather distressed. "Sorry, it's just that I can't help thinking about this girl, destroying herself so horribly, and I've been so happy tonight. Oh, I wish you hadn't told me. What was she like? Quite young?" Here we can see that this has had a strong impact on Sheila, not only through the stage directions rather distressed, but also through the exclamatory "sorry." We can see that this has had a really strong impact because of the vivid imagery in destroying herself so horribly, and the emotion behind these words. Also note, however, Sheila's selfishness and "I've been so happy tonight," emphasising the fact that she is spoilt and normally carefree. However, she feels sympathetic and there's a desire to feel some connection, shown through her questioning. What was she like? Quite young? Also note her question, pretty? She wants personal details, She wants personal details because she wants to actually feel empathy. Again, note the inspector's incredibly blunt response. She wasn't pretty when I saw her today, but she had been pretty, very pretty. This is important on two levels. One, because it emphasises just how harsh he is being with Sheila in order to shock her, emphasising the gender divide and also the class divide. It's okay for women of upper class or middle class stature to not be exposed to these things, but when it's a woman of the lower classes, no one cares what kind of horrible things she's exposed to. Another reason is the very pretty here. The fact that he emphasises just how pretty she is. This is almost too personal for an inspector and is our first clue that perhaps he's not exactly who he says he is. Burling responds again with, "That's enough of that," attempting to brush off the situation. He's angry at the inspector's treatment of Sheila, again emphasising his supposed middle-class values. The camaraderie between Gerald and Burling can be seen through Gerald's response, and I don't really see that this inquiry gets you anywhere, Inspector. It's what happened to her since she left Mr. Burling's works that's important. Burling responds rather self-importantly with, "Obviously, I suggested that some time ago."